thank the viewers for your patience. We appreciate you so much while we deal with technology. But let's not let that take away from our spotlight guest today, Mr. Matthew J. Hopper. He is the author of The Coldest Girl. And we are so excited to have him here on Spotlight. Welcome, Matthew.
Thank you. Glad to be here finally.
I know I don't know what's going on today, but you know what? We're making it happen. So I'm excited about that. So I have a couple icebreaker questions for you before we jump into the interview. The first thing I want to ask you is, what was the scariest ride you've been on ever? Like you've ever been on?
Scariest ride I've been on ever. Honestly, any roller coaster. I am acrophobic, so you usually can't even get me on them. But if you got me onto it, that's automatically the scariest ride ever. Man, I think I was like 13 the last time somebody successfully got me on a roller coaster. Like, I'm not just being playful and saying I'm scared of heights. It gets really bad. Like, I start having like panic attacks, feels like a heart attack's happening, just waiting in line. And so, yeah, if you somehow miraculously got me up there, it's automatically terrifying because I can't get out once I'm in there.
You know what, Matthew? I'm the same way. I am the same way. I waited till I was an adult to get on a roller coaster, and I did it. And poor people that was around me, like everybody got told off because they made me do it. You know, blame them all. I didn't talk to them the whole way home.
Oh, I joke with the teens I work with now. Whenever we go to theme parks, they're like, "Why don't you go on the roller coaster with us?" It's like, because I'd get fired the next day for how much swearing you guys would hear up there.
Yes. That is funny. That is funny. So what fact about, okay, I have another cool question for you.
Okay.
What fact about you that nobody would guess? So what is something about you that you do that nobody will guess you do? A fact.
Fact about what I do. Oh man. It always surprised me. I always think I'm like really secretive, and then people are like, "Yeah, you're probably this way." I'm like, "All right."
Like I am.
Yeah. Man, I'm trying to think. Like, if you wanted like a random fact like this happened, nobody would guess that. Honestly, I've gotten like close to 20 or 30 celebrities I've just randomly gotten to hang out with now. And it's just always weird. People are like, "Yeah, have you ever heard of this person or that person?" I was like, "Yeah, I had lunch with them like 2 months ago." It was like, and then realized, wait,
Really?
that was actually pretty weird. So
For real? Like you would have lunch with celebrities and nobody would be like, nobody
yeah, a
would
lot of
know.
them are musicians. Again, it comes from, I'm a youth pastor, so I get to go to these random conferences or concerts, and they're always like, "Yeah, youth pastors, you can come meet with us." And I'll just get to hang out with somebody. Like, I got to hang out with the biggest one so far is John Cooper from Skillet. Once I got to go have supper with him. I was like, I can say I've done that. If you're into Christian bands, I actually got King and Country, who are a pretty big Christian band right now, to sing "Happy Birthday" to my son from the main stage like 2 years ago. So like I've got to have a bunch of these.
Country.
Yeah, so I've got to have a bunch of these random things happen, and I just keep telling people when they ask how do I do it, is like, you just say yes to every opportunity that you get, and weird stuff that's really cool will happen for you.
That's right. That leap of faith.
Yeah.
A leap of faith. Awesome sauce. Okay, so let's get into the coldest girl, because the title for me, I needed to get broken down a little bit because it's the coldest girl, and I want to know why she's cold. Is it weather? Is it emotion? What is it? So let's get into it. But before we get into that, I just want to ask questions about the book. What about The Coldest Girl that you want readers to take away? Like, what message do you want the readers and the viewers today to take away from The Coldest Girl?
When I wrote it, I'm like, there is no message. I just wanted to write a book that kids would enjoy. And as people started reviewing it for me, it was like, it has such a wonderful message that parents need to listen to their kids. I'm like, it does? All right. So now I started like, you know what? Actually, that message is in there. I never intended it, but it really is in there. And so now I start talking to parents. It's like, this is one of the things we think as parents, we know everything. The one thing, though, we don't actually know is what's going inside our kids' heads. So we actually have to humble ourselves a little bit and actually listen to them, which sometimes I have 3 kids. Sometimes listening to your kid is annoying because they don't know how to string together their thoughts. And so, like, a one sentence thing could take them 8 paragraphs to get through. But it might be something really important that you actually do need to listen to. And sometimes maybe it's just the important part of listening to them. So that theme is apparently in the book. I didn't intend it. I just intend to write a book that kids would enjoy reading again and again. But now that apparently a message has been discovered, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to run with it then. I'll make it.
Run with it. Run with it. It's interesting how sometimes the Holy Spirit will give us messages. Like, we have one idea, and then the Spirit is like, yeah, you're going to write it. There's going to be a message behind it that is going to generate to people. I love that. I have another question for you. What famous book author would you wish could be your mentor? What, they could be alive, they could be deceased. What will be a children author, story writer that you would have want to meet, mentor you with book writing, with your stories?
Honestly, I'd love to have been mentored by Robert Munsch, which it's really weird. I started talking about it around here, and I usually get blank stares. But I grew up in Canada, and Robert Munsch is huge. And I never realized he wasn't huge everywhere, even though his books are everywhere. I actually got to meet him when I was 8 years old. He came to my school. I think it was maybe 8 to 10, somewhere in that area. But man, I would love to be able to sit down and pick his brain. The guy has written like 30 kids' books, and I have about half of them, and I've always read them to my kids or other children I've worked with. And each and every one is just as engaging to kids. And it's like, I want to know how you write that consistently.
Yeah, there has to be the energy behind that. Well, hopefully, maybe we could send them this recording.
Well, that'd be great.
So let's get into your book. But before we do that, I am going to take a little, like, maybe 20-second commercial, and then we come back. I would love for you to share your story with our viewers today.
Sure.
Okie dokie. Be right back. Okay. All right, guys. I hope you're enjoying this so much. I am. I'm having a really good time with Pastor Matthew J. Hopper and talking about his story. So today I am just going to bring to you my book, and I am actually going to highlight my illustrator for this book. He's getting a special shout out today. He is from Illustration Hub, and I just want to show you his Love Will. Is a children's book. It's a book about diversity and dealing with loss and grief, and just the Holy Spirit and how God heals through loss. So I just want to show you some pictures, and if you like these illustrations, definitely check him out. www.illustrationhub.com. He's amazing. And that's it. And it's his Love Will. And again, www.illustrationhub.com. And without any further ado, we are going back to Matthew Hopper, Jay Hopper, and he is going to share his wonderful story, The Coldest Girl. You're back.
Yeah.
You good?
So you said we're gonna have a transition. I'm like crossing my fingers. It's like, let's make sure the transition goes both ways.
I was holding my breath. I'm like, let me finish and get right back. Okay, awesome. So I'm gonna step out and I'm gonna let you take the spotlight. Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
All right, guys. I'm loving that I can share this with you. Every time I can share this, I love it. Man, part of this is a passion project. Part of this is it's just what I love to do. I've been working with kids and teens almost my whole life, and a large part of it is I'm telling stories to them, and I've always wanted to tell my own stories, and it finally clicked. And it honestly only clicked because of my daughter. This book is started from her. She is the coldest girl, or at least she was. We moved to South Carolina, and then she discovered she actually likes the heat. But she was the coldest girl. She was actually born on the coldest day of the year in the coldest place in the world. She was born in Atlantic Canada, which during the winter, it's the coldest place in the world. I can guarantee that for you. But she found out a few years ago, this is where she was born and how she was born. And she started saying this little phrase that pops up, that I am Ren. I was born on the coldest day of the year in the coldest place in the world. My veins are filled with ice, and I do not get cold. And she said that like 2 or 3 times and would just rush out of her house and go play in the snow in whatever she was in. And I'm like, this is a kid's story here. And I'm like, okay, let's sit this. And literally, I sat down and wrote this story in about an hour. It might have actually been longer. I think I got interrupted by a phone call, but it just poured out. It's like, this is the story right there. This girl that loves the cold, that's from the cold. But I added one more thing to make this the story. The last line I put in to that poem is, but whatever you do, do not put me in the sun. And it's such an important line. I don't want to give more there because, oh man, I keep calling it, there's the Pixar moment at the end. You got to check it out. But the illustrations are just beautiful here. I love the work that Charlotte Black did for illustrations. This is her second book. Just every page absolutely pops. But you get to enjoy the fun of every misadventure this little girl has. And it starts on ones that every little kid probably did, of running outside without their coat, or just getting so excited by the snow, they just jump in with whatever they are to making snow angels. But then it grows to more cartoonish, I guess, would be way of her. Like, she takes a bath so freezing that the bubbles turn into snowflakes. She jumps into a pit with the penguins. That's one of people's favorites. Pulled that one. Everybody loves it. Any promotional stuff I put out, it's actually the image from her playing with the penguins. And it just keeps working to be in this amazing book. And I absolutely am in love with this. And it's not just because I'm the one that did it. It's just, I even made it for myself in the way that I want to keep reading it. I have not gotten tired of hearing it. And I love that I keep hearing back from other people. It's like, our kids won't stop reading this. They read it every night. They got rid of their old bedtime book. They got this one now. I just got a review from over in Wisconsin. They were like, yeah, our daughters, all 3 of them, 11 to 6, read this book, and immediately they had to read it again. And as soon as their dad got home, they pushed me aside, mom saying that, and they got dad to read it. And every night since they got the book, it's been the book they're like, we need to read this before bed. And this is a story I keep hearing. It's like, this is what I wanted. It wasn't, I had this story to tell. I had a desire that write something that kids want to read again and again and again, so that it just opens up new worlds to them. So that's what The Coldest Girl is. If you want a book that's going to be enjoyable to read, you want a book that's going to laugh, you want a book that is going to shock you at the end, get this book. Parents, I will give the warning. You're not going to like the shock, but don't worry, your kids will love it because they are used to that from every cartoon movie Disney has put out. They know what's going to happen next, and they enjoy even more when you're reading it to them and you're gasping, and they're like, "Oh, I know what happens next, though." So this is such a great book for families. It's a great book at the transitional time when it goes from mom and dad reading to the kids reading on their own. The majority of the words are very simple, but I intentionally threw in some bigger words just to challenge the kid to read. And even if they're like, I can read this by myself, you know what? 1 or 2 words, you're going to have to ask mom and dad, kids. So I can't wait to hear from you guys that you're reading it too. And let's just get more kids reading here.
I love it. I love your message. Yes, let's get more kids reading. And that is the definite goal, especially inspiring books and great books and funny books and silly books and just books that makes you want to reread, especially like The Coldest Girl. It always makes me feel good as a mom. I have 4 to see my kid with their favorite book. You don't have to, my personal belief, you don't have to have all these different books that connects with you, and you just read it over and over and over. So many doors for me and confidence for me. So I thank you so much, Pastor Matthew Hopper, for your time. And I just hope that everybody goes out and get your copy today. Where can they purchase your book? Is it Amazon? Is there another place they can purchase?
Yeah, it's just Amazon. Tried to go a traditional route. Found out that honestly, if you just want to do it, you might as well do it yourself. Has a great system through their Kindle Direct Publishing, so that's where I am, which works because Amazon's everywhere. Like, I'm pretty sure once Elon Musk gets up to Mars here in a few years, you'll find out Amazon's already there with a shipment for him.
I know that's right. so true.
Yeah, just type in The Coldest Girl in whatever your country's Amazon is, and it'll come right up. And I've never heard anybody complain about a late delivery yet, so they'll get it to you perfectly.
Good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time and blessing the audience with this book. Take care until next time. I definitely can't wait till you write your second book, and we can interview then too. That'll be fun.
Yeah, we'll do another one when it comes out.
We'll keep doing it. All right, take care. Have a blessed night.
You too.